All right, it is week number 8 of reading Raymond Chandler's Red Wind every week of the year 2026. Still good. Pardon me if I ramble a little bit. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep the past couple of nights, so my thoughts might not be totally together. Not that they are, even when I am well rested, just, it's a little bit extra. Okay, so in here, if you want a summation of everything that's happened in Red Wind so far, you can go back and watch the other 7 videos. I don't think I have to spend too much time recapping everything. So just jump straight into it and point out some notable things in this. One thing I want to point out, and see, I got to jump over to the page again because I forgot to mark it. One of the things I've remarked on in several of the videos in the past is how well Raymond Chandler develops characters, even just side characters within this story. You never get the sense that anyone's just filling a stock role, but they're actually a full-fledged character within a larger world. Like when they're not on the page here, there's never this thought that they're just laying in wait until the detective John Damos gets back around to them. There's always the feeling that these characters, even when they're not seen or heard, they're doing something, that they're living some sort of life. And one of these is the bartender from the start of the story, is this young man, 21 years old, named Lew Petrolle. And I just want to read this paragraph here. This is after Waldo, aka Joseph Choate, has been killed. Everyone's had to go down to the police station to swear out a statement, and the detective John Damos, in his narration, is just giving some details about this bartender after everything's said and done. Lew Petrolle was all right when they checked on him. His father had a grape ranch near Antioch in Contra Costa County. He had given Lew a few $1,000s to go into business, and Lew had opened the cocktail bar, neon sign and all, on 800 Flat. And there's a couple more lines where Lew Petrolle goes through some action and has some dialogue. And then he just disappears from the story forever. He's mentioned once more when the murderer, Al Tessalor, shows up at John Damos' apartment. Al Tessalor makes it known that his intentions are to kill John Damos and then go to the home of this Lew Petrolle, who's already followed home, and then backtrack to Damos' apartment and kill Lew Petrolle. So Al Tessalor is trying to silence all the witnesses that saw him kill Joseph Choate. But that's the thing, like this character, he gets all this detail. His dialogue is very specific to him and the way he interacts with different characters. And yet he's only in that first section, and then mentioned once later, and then never shows up again for the whole rest of the story. And I think part of that would be the way my understanding of how Raymond Chandler wrote the stories is that he was very much just sat down on the typewriter and wrote it front to back. Not a whole lot of plotting work, not a whole lot of planning before he sat down. Not that he didn't think about these things, just that things weren't set in stone as to how the pieces were going to interact. Just kind of like from one end to the other, front to back, as it develops naturally as he was writing it. Very much like the way Elmore Leonard or certain other authors in the same genre work on their pieces of crime fiction. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's not the way I work when I write things. So I generally when I'm writing something, if something shows up at the end, I want to make sure it shows up at the beginning too, so that there's not a whole lot of fat or things that don't need to be in there necessarily. Like those details about Lew Petrolle are probably something I wouldn't have written. But then again, I'm not Raymond Chandler. I'm not here to criticize my betters or to say that they're failing in some sort of capacity. I'm here to learn from what he's doing. And even though he's using, anyways, to my understanding, I don't really know too much about Raymond Chandler's methods, but to my understanding, the method he used to write these stories, there is something to get at there, in that, in his mind, in Raymond Chandler's mind, maybe he doesn't know that Lew Petrolle's not going to show up again later on in the story. So he gives a bunch of character, a bunch of detail to him now when it's important. And then later he can do whatever he wants with it. If he drops it, fine. If he brings somebody else in who's just as important, that's good too. And it gives him this flexibility to turn the story wherever he wants to go. And so I've read Red Wind 8 times so far, and also, pardon me. And also, I've started in on this biography of Raymond Chandler. It's Raymond Chandler, a biography by Tom Heine. I've gone through the first chapter, which covers a little bit of detail about Raymond Chandler's parents. Then Raymond Chandler and his mother moving into Ireland, living there for several years. And chapter 1 ends off with Raymond Chandler borrowing some money from his uncle to move to the United States and in order to find work there. It's interesting stuff. There's a quote here at the beginning, on the preface, from Raymond Chandler. This is Chandler's reply to a suggestion of his British publisher that he write an autobiography. The quote is, "Who cares how a writer got his first bicycle?" And in which case, he's right and wrong in that. The lives of writers are boring because they are really just normal, everyday people. You have some exceptions to that. People like Jack London had a fairly exciting life because, for one, he just spent most of it in the wilderness. And then people like, say, Edgar Rice Burroughs. Edgar Rice Burroughs, most people don't know this, is that during World War II, he used a little bit of his influence and his fame to get himself a position as a reporter for the U.S. Army. And he was, I don't know exactly how it plays out, but he went into the South Seas and was reporting on the war from there. He was the oldest field reporter during World War I. The oldest civilian reporter in the entire war. But anyway, stuff like that. There's just little bits of trivia, curious things. Like if you want to know, it's there. If you are interested in understanding the writers as people, well, that gets into a whole thing about like how much do you need to know about a person to understand the work more fully, or is it better to not know anything at all about them and just take the work on its own merits? Which, I don't know, that's something worth thinking about. But anyways, that's all I got to say about that. I will see you later.